Hello and welcome. Today we're diving into one of the most powerful, most iconic images in the entire Torah, Jacob's ladder. But here's the thing. What if this wasn't just some symbolic dream? What if Jacob was getting a direct look under the hood at the universe's operating system, the actual blueprint for reality itself?
I mean, listen to that verse. It's just cinematic. Jacob, totally alone, on the run, and he dreams of this incredible structure. It's rooted right here in our physical world, but it pierces the heavens with this constant traffic of messengers going up and down. It's an amazing image. But according to the mystics, it's so much more than just an image. And this is where our whole exploration really kicks off, with a super fascinating puzzle. Fast forward a few hundred years, and you have the prophet Ezekiel. He's wide awake by a river, and he has this completely mind-blowing vision of the divine chariot, the Merkavah. Now on the surface, these two experiences seem worlds apart, right? One guy is asleep, getting a closed-eye dream, the other is awake, in a full-blown prophetic trance. But what if they were both looking at the exact same cosmic machine, just through two totally different interfaces?
So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to see exactly how these two visions connect. We'll decode the ladder as this living link between heaven and earth. We'll even map its rungs to the blueprint of reality itself. Then, we'll get into why Jacob and Ezekiel saw it so differently, use a couple of modern models to make it all click, and finally, bring it all home to see what it means for you and me.
All right, so the key that unlocks this whole mystery, it's hidden in plain sight, right in the opening words of Ezekiel's prophecy, as explained by the Zohar.
So the text says Haya Haya, which means it was. Now you might think, why the repetition? Is it just for emphasis? Well, the Zohar says, no way. This is a profound statement. It's telling us that the structure Ezekiel saw up in the heavens already was present right here in our lower world. In other words, the reality above and the reality below aren't separate things. They're two sides of the same coin, a single unified system. And that means what Ezekiel saw was the very same ladder, the same cosmic structure that Jacob saw in his dream.
So you see, this ladder isn't just a static object or a nice metaphor. It's the living, breathing, operating system that connects every level of existence. Think of it as the central nervous system of all creation. To really get it, let's think in modern terms. The ladder is basically a bidirectional data pipeline. It connects our world, our local device, with the divine source, which you could think of as the cloud infrastructure. And just like your phone is constantly syncing with the cloud, there's this nonstop, two-way flow of energy and information happening between these dimensions.
Now, the traffic on this pipeline is everything. The verse says angels were ascending and descending. The Zohar tells us that our actions, our prayers, our intentions, that's the data that's constantly ascending. And what comes back down in response? That's the divine influx, or shefa, blessings, wisdom, creativity, everything we need. And here's a mind-bending part. The angels are identified as the spiritual forces governing the nations, and their power actually rises or falls based on what we do down here. Our world, our actions, directly influence the cosmic balance.
So, if the ladder is this grand connection, this cosmic pipeline, what is it actually made of? Well, the mystics are crystal clear on this. The rungs of Jacob's ladder are the 10 Sephirot, the divine emanations that make up the fundamental structure of all reality.
Check this out. It's a complete map. The base of the ladder, set up on the earth, well, that's the Sephirah of Malkut, our physical reality right here. And as you climb, you move up through the very building blocks of existence. Foundation, our emotions, our intellect, all the way to the very top. Its head reaches the heavens. That's the highest Sephirot with Kether, the divine will itself, at the very peak. So Jacob wasn't just dreaming of a way to get from point A to point B. He was seeing the actual architectural diagram of creation.
And remember that payload we talked about, that data that's downloading from the cloud? That has a name. It's called Shefa. It's the divine flow of energy, of creativity, of life itself that starts in the highest realms and cascades down through every single sephirah, every rung of the ladder, to ultimately nourish and sustain our world.
But, and this is absolutely crucial to understand, this is not a static schematic. Don't picture a fixed fire escape. This is a living, pulsating, dynamic engine. You have these divine lights and the vessels that are meant to contain them, and they are in constant motion, ascending, descending, swapping places, reconfiguring everything. Our actions down below actually cause shifts in this entire engine, making vessels rise up to receive new light, which then comes back down in a new way. Reality is literally in a constant dance of ascent and descent on this cosmic ladder.
Okay, so this brings up a huge question. If Jacob and Ezekiel saw the exact same dynamic system, why were their experiences so incredibly different? Well, this gets us into the fascinating idea of different channels or levels of prophecy.
So the mystical texts are very precise about this. Jacob's experience is called a vision within a dream. It's a symbolic, closed-eye kind of prophecy, where this incredible divine insight gets filtered down into images and metaphors we can grasp. Ezekiel, on the other hand, had a waking vision. This is a much higher, much more direct level of perception. It's an open-eye view. So you see, it wasn't a different reality they saw. It was the same cosmic operating system. They were just viewing it through different spiritual hardware, which created two very different user interfaces.
To really let this sink in and make it tangible, let's translate this incredibly complex mystical architecture into a couple of modern analogies. This really helps us see the function behind the form.
Okay, first up, the video game model. Imagine reality is a massive multi-level game. The ladder is how you get between the different levels. Your prayers, your good deeds, those are the actions you take in the game that power up your character and unlock higher levels. And those spiritual ministers we talked about, they're basically level bosses. And your performance, how you play the game, directly affects how powerful they are. Pretty cool, right? Now, for those of you who think more in terms of code and systems, here's the cosmic engineering model. Picture reality as a full-stack architecture with four main layers. The ladder is the API, the application programming interface, that lets all these layers talk to each other. So when you pray, it's like you're sending a post request from the front end, which is our world, all the way up to the divine server. That request causes a state change in the supernal database, which then returns a payload of Shapha back down through the API, updating the state of your reality.
So what's the bottom line here? What's the ultimate takeaway from all this? This cosmic blueprint, this API to the divine, it isn't just some abstract diagram of the universe. It is a living map of our own inner world, and we are the ones actively building it every single day.
Think about it. Every action you take, every thought you have, every intention you hold is either data going up the ladder or coming down. We are constantly sending information up, and that shapes the reality that flows back to us. Jacob's dream wasn't just for him. It was a vision for all of us, showing that the connection between heaven and earth isn't just out there somewhere. It's built right here, by us, through our choices. So the question it leaves us with is, what are you building with your ladder today? Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.